May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Shabbat Shalom. We're grateful to be here with you to celebrate our Sisterhood Shabbat. I'm Ellen Goodman, and I'm joined this evening by WRJ's President, Naomi Estrada, WRJ's past President, Tina Wolf, Temple Mount Sinai's Musical Director, Carlos Gomez, and Elvira Spector. I also want to thank Riley Miner, who is helping us with our streaming technologies this evening. Without you, this evening would not have been possible. If you would like to follow along, for those of you online, please take a look at today's post on Facebook, which includes a link to the service handout. If you click to open the service handout, you will find a link to the online prayer book, as well as page numbers for many of our songs. If you would, please turn to page 2 in the regular prayer book and page 120 in the combined. And please rise for the candles.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall not speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
May the glow of these candles bring peace to the world, and the spirit of Gehenna surround us. May the blessings of our days fill our hearts with love. And Shabbat Shalom.
standing. We are now on page 27 and 145 in the complete. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there's no place on earth without the presence. We turn the page for the Borachu.
Lai, 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 la, la, lai, 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 la, la, lai, 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 lai. Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Yai, lai, 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 lai,
We are now on page 31, at page 149 in the complete. Naomi?
This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back and cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamarim Aravim.
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
Baruch Shem Gevon, Shem Gevon, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your hearts, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully until your children speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully until your children speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise.
We are on page 39, or 157 in the larger edition. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe in what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
On page, just a second, 342, in the back will be our Milhamocha. It is page 646 in the complete edition. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched by spirit, she dances towards a light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're gonna dance tonight. And the women with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Please rise and turn to page 46, page 164 for Tefillah. Adonai Sifatai Tita, Uvi Ani Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Eloheinu b'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Adonai Gadol HaGibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, V'zocher Haselot V'imachot, U'medigu Lipnei Peihem, L'man Sheshamot Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach L'makei, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol et harav le'Mashiach, Ori atah. Mechapel ha'i v'chesed, Mechayeh hakol be'rachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofeh cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayeh be'emunato le'shenei afar, Michamocha ba'gevurot, U'midon elach, Melech minim v'chayeh, U'masmiach Yeshua. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kadoshim b'chol yom yichalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. We now come to the part of the service where we think of all of those whom we love, who are in pain, spiritually, physically. And so we turn to page 253 for the Mishaberach. But before we sing it, we are thinking of Donald Weinberg, Jesse Bilal Ledabor, Jim DeRoss, Chaya Elon, Andrew Shapira, Mindy Dember, Johnny Guillen, Steve Kerner, Lloyd Skip Kerner, Nina Alvan Martinez, Elsa Smith, Karina Ramirez, Mark Levin, Lloyd Gerard, and Sherry Weinstein. Are there any other names of people that you would like to pray for?
Misheberach Avoteinu Mekor Abracha Leimoteinu May the soul source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Berach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here physically and virtually. It cannot be said enough, I am so grateful for Zoom. Over the course of a year, we've learned so much about our adaptability. Our community has crafted options to be together while we must be apart. Notably, we've also given those with less travel opportunities the chance to rejoin us in services and programs. We've had the freedom to synagogue hop and check in with communities where friends and family lead incredible services. I've been to Philly, returned to New Orleans, tested cities Aaron has threatened to move us to. Don't worry, the more he sees my roots anchored here, the less passionate his threats become. And of course, speaking of roots, I can talk about what might have been an early, Shemitah? Shemitah. And what that means to the community as well as sisterhood. We've had a year feeling alone and isolated, taking every opportunity that we can to find connectiveness. But of course, our hearts still feel not as full. And while many of us now hold the recipe with tips and tricks to make a great Hanukkah sugar cookie, we still can't wait to be back in the Temple Mount Sinai kitchen with mass batches of sugar and butter and that minutes away golden perfume of the perfect cookie. There is a frozen anticipation as we wait for decorating sessions and seeing our friends. Every few years, we're supposed to leave fields fallow, allow the world to rest and recover. So this last year, this pandemic year, is maybe a precursor to the practice. What did we do with this uninvited year? We felt pulled apart, but we also had the chance to take a break with ourselves, cultivate ourselves. We've had time for it. We've had time to take on yoga and mindfulness practices, most likely to compensate for the extended TV time that we must forgive ourselves for. We've had time to adopt new pets in our lives, perhaps because we miss little ones underfoot, or the bob and weave of community space, or because we miss sharing meals with friends. We've had time to cook meals, but we've also had time to order curbside to support our favorite spaces that we miss being in. We've had time to read a half a book, decide we did not like it, and read something else. Importantly, we've had time to read. We felt betrayed by time, too, as we watched little ones in our lives born and growing, getting too big without permission. All of this happening via text and Facebook updates. The littles, though getting bigger, are still there to hold. They can't wait. You can't wait. This safe waiting is what will make reunions so sweet and time will give us that. But we've also had more time to see spaces in the world that need healing. Time traveled as we hoped and hoped for lifted restrictions scheduled and rescheduled. Time slowed as we watched injustice, again grateful for technology, but simultaneously horrified. Time wouldn't slow as we saw history repeat itself with protests and activism, and we might have felt compromised because we had the time to do something, but with restrictions, what could we do? What can we do? We now have a reserve of energy, an anxious bucket list of everything we'll get back to, and the clear knowledge of the other line items that need attention. The actual Shemitah year is 2021-22, Jewish year 5782. What can we do? Organize our thoughts and select priorities. Pinching cheeks, of course, will be #1 priority. Worry less, and make sure you secure your best isolation habits and release what you feel are the poor ones. Maybe you'd been calling your mom more often through all of this. Keep that up for sure. Certainly, Zoom her this Sunday. Let's take the last few months of this Jewish year and figure out what we want to carry into a cleared field. Let's sit with that for the coming year and prepare ourselves for what we can cultivate and grow after. We've had a test year to gather what has value and discard, to use a meditation term, what doesn't serve. Sisterhood will continue modifying programs on Zoom until it is safe to return to in-person programs and parties. I am ready to throw a party. I can wait for the time when we can. In the meantime, let a board member know if there is something that can't wait, something you'd like to do now. What can we do? Support you and support our community. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Mother's Day.
Please turn to page 278 and page 510 for the counting of the Omer. Hini mechun zman lakayem mitzvat aseh shel tzfirat haOmer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Would you please join in with me? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haOmer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom echad v'arba'im yom shechem chamisha shivuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is day 41, which is 5 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. Now we get to turn all the way back to page 5. And we are celebrating birthdays and anniversaries. Is there anyone here who's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary this Shabbat? Or this month, I'm sorry, this month. Okay. Okay. Oh, a birthday, there's a birthday in the back row. So with all of the birthdays and all of the anniversaries, I want to give you some nachas a little bit. For the couples who are celebrating their anniversaries, O God and God of our ancestors, bless these couples during this anniversary month of their marriage. May they reflect with deep gratitude upon the years that have passed. May they recall the joys that have sweetened their lives. May they be thankful for the strength that allowed them to weather the storms. God, you have been with these couples through all the years together, so may you continue to bless them with your presence for many years to come. And for those celebrating a birthday on this month, Mr. Zeidman, this is for you. Makor Hayim, source of life, we thank you for the blessing of life and for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now in gratitude as we all share in the happiness of these very special people celebrating this month. God be with him now. May he be blessed with health and happiness and with strength to overcome any and all of life's challenges. And for all of you, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May the light of God's presence smile upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you always know that God is near, and may you know a lifetime of peace. Baruch atah Adonai mevarech hashanim. We pray you, God, who blesses the years. Please rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהב וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
Please remain standing as we turn to page 282, 586 in the complete version for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גאולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. Page 290, which is 594 in the complete. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy, 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Our thoughts now turn to those in our congregation, our loved ones, and people who have passed in years past. And if you have someone if you online people, if Facebook people have people that they are thinking of, please put them in the chat. But together here, we remember for Shloshim the past 30 days, Elvira Rubenstein, Marcia Grobman, Harold Isaacs, Bill Dahlberg, Lily Smith, Francis Leance, Marcelo Sainz. And for those we remember, Ernestine Elfman, Louis Axelrod, Saul I. Berg, Helen Borshaw, Marvin Sitterman, Leona Mae Copland, Kirby Dahman, Ray Dichter, Amelia Dorado, Ann Bergman Eisen, Robert Frame, Joseph Freudenstein, Daniel Frunlich, Alfred Friedman, Abram Geller, Ruth Jacobs Goldberg, Ruth Heidemann, James Kratzer, Elias G. Krupp, Norman Lakehomer, Marcus Lanton, Gerald Leeser, David Lerner, Harold Levy, Nathan F. Lipstadt, Dorothy Goodman Marshall, Frances Ruth Melman, Lilla Moy, Gerard Newman, William Oppenheim, Greg Peck, Roy Reif Snyder, Jewel Reinhardt, J.B. Robbins, William Rosing, Susan Levin Rothschild, Judith Rubin, Dorothy Simon, Vicki Smith Belford, Louis Steinzig, and Adelaide Weinstein. May their memories be for a blessing. Zichronom Lebracha. Please turn to page 294 and rise for the Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma devrach hirute v'yimlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya, Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha barichu, Le'ela min kol birachata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'ameram bi'ama v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. You may be seated. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. I would like to announce the death and funeral for Sylvia Mirup, who passed away on Thursday. The funeral will be Sunday, May 9th at 10:30 p.m., and it will be on Facebook or Zoom. And the minyan will be at Mindy's house at 6 p.m. that evening. I'd like to invite the president of the congregation up for announcements.
Shabbat shalom to all, and welcome. Thanks, Carlos. Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you very much for all your assistance in the service this evening. I would also like you to join me in thanking our service streaming sponsors, Jack Heidemann in memory of Ruth Heidemann, Robert and Eddie Treviso in memory of Amelia O. Dorado, Paul, Carvalho, in memory of Jewel Reinhardt, the Simons, Sam Simon, Marion Simon Garmel, Evelyn Simon Fox, and Sue Simon Owens in memory of Ernestine Alfman, and also in memory of Dorothy Simon. Tommy and Sid Goldfarb in memory of Greg Peck, Mark and Dory Fennenbach in memory of Judith Rubin, Susie Davidoff and Carl Ryan in memory of Jim Kratzer, Nancy Rothschild in memory of Susan Levin Rothschild, Chet Frame and Jan Wolf in memory of Robert Frame. The schedule for tomorrow is 9:30 Torah study via Zoom and 10:30 for the morning service, which will be online. Coming up Thursday, May 13th at 6 is the Institute of Southern Jewish Life, presenting Dr. Joel Hoffman, The Surprising Modern Message of the Ancient Ten Commandments. Coming up Friday, we'll invite you, everyone, in person or online. You're welcome to show up in person, just RSVP. Those same rules still apply. At 6:15 to join us as we celebrate Shabbat and confirm this year's confirmation students. We wish Mazel Tov to Mia Brezeño, Patrick Farley, Max Mansfield, Riley Miner, and Aaron Rosendorf and their families. Also, Friday, May 14th is the deadline for Sip and Paint to reserve your materials for pickup on Tuesday, May 18th. Again, look at the weekly email and information, sign up for a special opportunity for all-night study options, May 16th and 17th for Shavuot. Again, thank you, Ellen, for mentioning Sylvia Mirup's funeral. That information came out in an email this afternoon. So if you missed that email or it got in your junk folder, look for it, it's there. Thank you and Shabbat Shalom.
So instead of a closing song, Joshua Mindy's son, came to El Paso with his violin. And in honor of his Nana, he chose to play our closing song. Thank you, Joshua. Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful, blissful, healing weekend. Shabbat Shalom.